Hello, welcome to Drumcle. I made this channel to be able to share my passion for the drums with my nephew, who's also learning the drums. Hi, Ishan. And really, the name of the channel should be self-explanatory, right? Drum plus uncle equals Drumcle. That being said, if you want to adopt me as your internet uncle who yaps about drums and makes covers and stuff, feel free to embark on the journey with us. Let's move on to the actual video. So, I heard Ishan's been learning Californication. It's a great song. It's the first cover I did on this channel, and for good reason, because I love the song. And there's great stuff to be learned by learning how to play this song. It's haunted by a ghost, which is a horrible joke, but it's the ghost of dynamics. Dynamics means how loud or soft things are played. And the place where Californication forces us to think about dynamics a lot when we're playing is the snare, because we've got ghost notes and accents. If all of our hits on our snare are the same volume, it's gonna sound monotonous. But if the ghost notes are quiet and the backbeat is loud, that's gonna create loads of interest. But obviously we can't just be like, oh, do you know what, play your ghost notes quieter and your accents louder and it's gonna be great. Yeah, it would be great if I could just tell you that and you'd get that and it'd start incorporating in your playing. But there's exercises that I use that will help you incorporate the dynamics on snare into your playing. And we're not going to start with ghost notes, we're just going to start with single stroke rolls. Because if you can't actually do accents on single stroke rolls, then there's no chance in hell you're going to do ghost notes while you're playing and a good backbeat. Moving on to the next thing that I want to talk about before we get into the meat and potatoes of this lesson, counting. So I'm sure you're already used to counting in eighth notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All the exercises that I'm going to be talking about are going to be in 16th notes. So instead of 8 notes per bar in 4/4, this is going to be 16 notes per bar. So we're going to add a note before the end and a note after. We're going to use E and A. So it's like 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1. Okay, so moving on to the first game. One note is that when you're on the practice pad and the electric kit, your accents are just going to be notes that you raise higher than your normal notes. But when you're on the acoustic kit, your accent is going to be a rim shot. Now, counting in 16ths. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. The first pattern is going to be accents on the numbers. The second pattern is going to be accents on the E's. The third pattern is going to be accents on the N's. And the fourth pattern is going to be accents on the R's. This game is, in my opinion, the best entry point to really working accented notes on the snare and their contrast with quieter notes. So another objective whilst you're playing this game is that you make the accents as loud as possible and the unaccented notes as quiet as possible, because we're using this game to work towards ghost notes. So the way I want you to be playing these games is play them separately at first. We're doing the 4 patterns individually, and then when you get a bit more used to it, you can do all 4 patterns in a row. When you get used to that, you can do all 4 patterns in a row with a metronome. used to that, you can try to get your left foot involved. I'm not very good at it yet, but I'm working on that. So let's get to the second game now. We're going to start playing actual ghost notes in actual grooves. When you're playing the exercises, I want you to really make an effort to have the quiet notes really quiet and the accented notes really loud. As I've heard it before, I don't remember from whom, probably Nate from the 80/20 drummer, ghost notes are meant to be felt more than heard. Of course they're heard, but they're meant to be more felt. They should be quiet. So before I give you the patterns that are breakdowns of the different placements you could have ghost notes in a rock groove, I'm going to show you what happens if I fill up the entire thing, which is what we'll be working towards. This is a rock groove with all of the spaces between the eighth notes filled in by ghost notes. So trying to play that straight away, it's going to be a disaster. It's just too much to think about on the first time. What we're going to do is separate it. So in the first pattern, we're going to start with the E's of 1 and 3. Second pattern, we're going to do the R's of 2 and 4. Third pattern, we're going to do the R's of 1 and 3. And then lastly, we're going to do the E's of 2 and 4. The last two patterns are especially hard because the ghost note comes right before or right after an accented hit. So what I would advise is still counting out loud, because that's going to be a very good habit to have when you're practicing. It's counting out loud to check your playing. Counting out loud, I want you to play all 4 separate, and then you can start adding them together, where all of the ones where you play E's and all of the ones where you play U's, so E's of 1 and 3 and 2 and 4, and U's of 1 and 3 and 2 and 4 are done together. And then finally, what you can do is add it all together and get the pattern from the beginning. Another thing you'll notice is that sometimes I play a double 30-second note, so it's 2 notes for 1/16th note. On one of the ghost notes, it's just a quick double, and it's one of the things that makes the groove from Californication sound so good. So as a final little parting word, I just want to say that practice, especially practice outside of songs, is super important, because it's the time where you get to truly work on just the building blocks, the components of what's going to make your drumming sound good. And yeah, get to practicing. And if you work diligently at this, I have no doubt you're going to sound much better. And who doesn't want to be a better drummer? If you're watching this video and if you've gone this far, you want to be a better drummer. So take this seriously. Take a while. A week, 2 weeks, a month. Just work at this really hard. And then I'm sure your playing is going to sound better. Why, how would it not? Anyway, Talk to you next time.